I've been reading 1 Samuel, and 1 Samuel 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I've come to the conclusion that men do not value or treasure other men. I'll say that again. Men do not treasure, they do not value their fellow men. Why do I say this? I'm reading 1 Samuel 4 and 1 Samuel 5. And particularly they're talking about, the foundation of the prophet Samuel. And the Philistines had the Ark of the Covenant. There was a lot going on in 1 Samuel. We saw so many things happening. But the issue is that men do not value or treasure their fellow man. What we saw was a bunch of contrasts all happening at one time. Eli was the priest of the land, and God was getting ready to change the guard. He had two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, that were also priests. And his two sons, they didn't keep to the rules and the regulations that God had given them as priests. They were Levites, they were priests, and they were in special covenant with the Lord. And they committed many atrocities. They were sexually immoral. They would steal from the offering. They were just doing all kinds of things. Hophni and Phinehas, that is, the priests of the land, Eli's two sons. And because Eli didn't correct them, he was incurring the wrath of God. Simultaneously, a woman named Hannah had cried out to the Lord in Eli's inside the temple. Hannah had come to cry out to the Lord because she was having problems giving birth. She made a vow unto the Lord until she finally was able to have Samuel, because the Lord released her barren womb. He released her barren womb. He took pity on her. Again, this is all happening between 1 Samuel 1 and 1 Samuel 5. So once she made a vow to the Lord that if he were to give her a son, she would give the son back to him. That was how Samuel came about. The Lord allowed her to give birth to a prophet. Now, once she gave birth and she weaned Samuel to a certain age, she kept to her vow and dropped her son off with the known priest of the land, which was Eli. This was the vow and the promise that she made to God. And she kept to her promise. And the Lord honored her with about 3 more children after the birth of Samuel. You see, when you make a vow to God, be sure to keep it, because if you honor the Lord will honor you. If you honor the Lord, surely the Lord will honor you. So Eli began to grow old. He was losing his eyesight, and he was cursed by God because he did not correct his sons. And it said in the word that not even his sacrifice could cure or undo what the Lord had decided to do concerning Eli. Now, what was going to happen to Eli was not told to Eli. It was told to the boy, that is Samuel, who was now under the safekeeping of the priest of the land, Eli. The Lord was preparing Samuel to take Eli's place. So Eli was bringing up Samuel. He had separated Samuel from his family. First thing, whenever the Lord is bringing up a prophet or a king, someone that is supposed to be in a position of leadership, he would separate them from their family. He would separate them from everyone. He would separate them so that they will learn to hear his voice and not be distracted by the voices of other people. So Samuel was growing up under the care and the safekeeping of Eli, and away from his mother and away from his family. That was the first thing. And the Lord had already decided that he was going to remove Eli from his place of leadership, and that he was going to release death upon both of his sons because they had dishonored the Levite vow. They were priests. You can't be sleeping around and having sex with the people that you're supposed to be helping, with the women you're supposed to be helping, and stealing the sacrifices, taking the best parts of the sacrifice. It's wrong. They desecrated their vows as priests, and there were consequences for that. Unfortunately, the Lord did not share what he wanted to do with Eli. He shared it with the young boy that was under Eli's safekeeping. He shared it with the one that was being raised up to take his place. Whenever the Lord is about to change the guard, whenever the Lord is about to change the hands of leadership, he will share those things with his friends. He will share those things with the ones who he is gearing up for that leadership. It is not something that people are privy to. Sometimes even the one that is sitting in the seat of leadership. In this case, Eli and his sons, Phinehas and Hophni, they did not treasure and value their fellow man. They did not treasure and value their fellow man. And this is why the Lord decided to release this judgment upon their family. And not only would he release this judgment upon the family, he would take the priesthood away from their lineage. That is a curse, and that is a judgment of God. When you don't value your fellow man and you dishonor the Lord, there will always be consequences. There will always be judgment. What matters most is those that fall to their knees and have a repentant heart when they make mistakes. This is what King David was known best for. We knew that he made many mistakes on his way to kingship and within the kingship. We knew that he was not perfect, but he was a man whose heart was after God. And that is the type of man that we should all strive to be. Someone who has a repentant heart, because those are the people that God can use.